seeing this person as they're in an energy where they're not like quite thinking like the best, okay? It's kind of like, I'm kind of Debbie Downer, okay? This person's Debbie Downer here. You're feeling like this is kind of like, it's like, I feel like they have this choice. They have the choice to take the Ace of Cups, and there's like these other cups that are kind of like full of bullshit, right? And it feels almost like they're kind of concentrating on the bullshit that's going on around them instead of what love offer, or you could feel like you're giving this person some kind of love, expressing yourself to this person, whether it's in the 5D or the 3D. It feels like this person, you feel like they're not really quite seeing it, okay? All right, so let's see how you're seeing them. How are you seeing each one? The Knight of Cups, okay? These cards are so pretty. The Knight of Cups tells me that this person, the way that you're feeling about them, your way that you're seeing them, you feel like they're pretty closed off here, okay? Because he's all suited up here. It feels almost like whoever this is, that your twin, it feels almost like you feel like they're giving you, like they're expressing their feelings a little bit. Maybe you're feeling their energy. Some of you guys may actually be communicating with them, but you feel like they're still kind of guarded up, all guarded up, right? You feel like there's still no like massive movements forward. Maybe there's been some kind of communication, but they're not making themselves like intentionally clear. Like the sword is down here. So like if it was up, it'd be like, oh, I want you, right? So it feels like this person hasn't quite really like told you what it is that maybe that you're looking for to give you like the green light, or there's something here that may make you feel more reassured about the connection that you haven't quite heard just yet, okay? All right, so let me see, what do you want with them? What do you want with your twin? New deck, sorry guys. 5 of Wands. I heard fight for me. Does that make sense for some of you guys? Fight for me. So 5 of Wands has to do with an energy of like a lot of people could be in the mix. I take it as more like 3D energy as a reader for me. It feels almost like maybe there's other people. There could be other friends, family, you know, involved in this, where it's kind of like that could be the block, where this person may be focused on that, right? Let's see, what do you want with them? Yeah, 6 of Swords. Okay, so you're saying move away from the bullshit. Move away from the bullshit. Like, why are you choosing to like focus on the bullshit? Well, I need you to look at the Ace of Cups, right? So it looks like you guys are like, hey, twin, hey, right? I need you to start looking at the good stuff, okay? Instead of, I feel like you guys that are watching me are the ones that are like constantly moving forward. So 11, obviously. But it feels like you guys are the ones that are moving more forward. You're not afraid of growth. And I feel like maybe your twin is a little bit kind of lagging a little bit behind here, okay? Let me see how they're seeing you. Let me see how they're seeing you, okay? How are you seeing you? The 8 of Swords. That's so funny. They think that you're like kind of trapped, okay? I feel like for some of you guys, you may have communicated to them about something that you constantly are thinking about, or there's something that you're very like concerned about. Maybe you've expressed this to them. With the 8 of Swords, is all about like kind of, you know, I can't stop thinking about this. I'm very concerned about this. So there's something here maybe you've told them where they're like, what? It feels almost like this would be somebody saying like, that's really not anything to really stress about, right? And they may not have said that to you. I feel like it's in a loving nature here, where they're kind of looking at you like, I don't know why they're stressing that so bad. But it's kind of funny because you guys are kind of mirroring each other right here. All right, so let's see. How do they see you? Give me another one. The 6 of Wands. But at the same time, I think this is 2 cards. It's 1 or 2 cards. I think it is 2 cards. Let's see. All right. Okay, Page of Pentacles. All right, so we got the 6 of Wands and Page of Pentacles. I feel like this person here, you feel very resilient, okay? Whoever's watching me, it feels like you're this person, and it feels like you're the one that, as much as you get in your head, your twin sees you as somebody that's like, okay, I'm in my head, now I'm getting out. Okay, I'm gonna achieve this. You may take small steps, but it feels like your twin thinks very highly of you, okay? It's like, they know that you're very focused on what it is in front of you. If you guys have a specific goal or something that you guys are trying to achieve, they know that you will, it's like they know that you got the Midas touch. They know that you guys are gonna achieve it. It's like they see you as somebody that you can make anything happen, okay? All right, see how they feel about you right now? Okay, 3 of Swords. Why do they feel the 3 of Swords for you guys right now? and the Queen of Wands. Wow, they're wildly attracted to you. Woo! All right. You know, try not to make it too dirty because my last extended here, the other website wouldn't post it. It really wasn't all that dirty, but it kept taking it down. So that was not on my doing, guys. I kept trying to repost it. Wouldn't get away with it. They wouldn't let me get away with it. So what I saw here with the heart, with the Ace of Swords, is like the communication. It's like they want to tell you something, okay? Maybe they're expressing to you only in passionate ways here with this Queen of Wands. And I feel like there's something more they want to tell you, okay? But you guys are like a ray of fucking sunshine in their life right now. Especially if you guys are in connection or you're talking to your twin right now. Let me see. What do they want with you right now? What do they want with you in this energy here? Three of Wands. You're going to close the gap. Three of Wands is usually about distance, right? Trying to manifest closure, kind of, it can't be somebody distancing themselves, but it feels like this person, your twin, it feels like they're wanting to close in the gap is the vibe I'm getting off of this. Close in the gap. Yeah, King of Pentacles. Yeah, they want to close in the gap. So this person here, your twin, it feels like they're wildly attracted to you. What do they want? Hold on. Let's see what they want to tell you. With this with this one sword going through this, what do they want to tell you? Nine of Wands and the Tower. They're going through something here. I feel like they're going through something, judgment. Yes, they are. They're straight up going through something here. It's like if you guys have recently reconnected, it's like it's making them look at like their life completely differently. This feels like a group of twins that have recently connected or they're about to, okay? So if you guys feel their energy coming, this may resonate for you guys. Now, it does feel like there has definitely been separation here, okay? But it does feel as though this person, you coming into them or coming into their life, or since you guys have been separated and now coming into realignment, it feels almost that this is causing this person to kind of like a judgment card, re-examine their whole life on how it is right now. Because now you're bringing in happiness. When remember they were in Debbie Downer. They were in Debbie Downer, right? So something about your energy is making them see kind of a different way of living, kind of a different way they want to do something differently. The King of Pentacles. So what they want with you, it looks like they want to ground this. Their intentions with you. The Magician. Holy shit, you guys, they want to manifest this shit to come together with you. The Two of Cups. Hell yeah, it is. Yeah, your twin wasn't bringing that 2 of Cups, baby. 2 cups. All right, let me pull a couple more here. What do we need to know about this? How they're seeing you. Anything else we need to know about this? How they're seeing you? The 4 of Pentacles. You guys, I feel like this is kind of, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you were kind of thinking this was completely over. This may be like a twin connection where you guys thought this was like, this is like coming back from the dead. Like y'all could have like thrown in the towel and then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, they're coming back, right? Holy shit, because this is the coffin, right? And I feel like this is kind of like re-emerging. Like this was not expected. Like if you guys connected with them recently, I don't think this is expected. Now, I tell a lot of you guys, when you're vibing super high, that's usually when the twins come back because they feel like that magnetic pull. When I'm seeing in the Queen of Wands, so that's why they came back, is because you were in your Queen of Wands, Empress energy. How they feel about you? Your twin? The Fool. Roses could be significant for some of you guys. I am noticing, this is my vampire deck, so that could be like Vampire Diaries or something if anybody watches that. But I'm noticing how she's like in the white and he's in the dark, right? So I feel like there's something here about maybe this person could definitely have Scorpio in their chart, but it feels like there's something here about where they're more of like the devilish and you're more like the angel, right? So it feels something like that. Like maybe you're the innocent one in the connection and it's almost like they're kind of, maybe they grew up with like a rough life or they decided like theirs wasn't as, I feel like there's like an innocence about you that this person doesn't have, but I feel like they're wildly attracted to it. Now, if you're a masculine, I feel like this is the feminine energy that is. Yeah, the Empress. There's the Empress. All right. Empress, she's all tangled up in some snakes and wolves and falcons and stuff like that. That was a horrible falcon noise, but it feels almost like they are seeing, again, there's something here about you guys having this, like such the divine feminine having such a divine, like an untouchable, like beauty, like energy. You guys are fucking radiating like hell right now. And that's why this connection is coming together right now. Okay, let's see what they want with you guys. The Two of Cups. It came out in a different deck, guys. Holy shit. Two of Cups again. Look, hold on. Two of Cups. Ah! What do they want with you? Fucking A, right. They want some love with you here, okay? Something about y'all's hearts, like when you're like close together, something like that. I feel like she's like checking his pulse right here, okay? Something here about like you guys calming each other down. There's something here where it's like when you guys are together, you just naturally calm each other down. All right, their intentions. The World. I mean, they want this all with you guys. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles. It looks like their intention. If this is your reading, guys, their intentions are definitely to move this forward. Okay, so let's see. Let's see energy today. All right, what would they say to you? So you know if this is your reading or not. Let's see if it resonates for you guys. What would they say to you? I don't know where we start. Yeah, this feels like a connection here. This twin flame, this collective that's watching me, if this is your energy, this looks like this is somebody where you threw in the towel and it's like you guys are getting like a fresh new start. I don't think either of you expected this. It's like it came out of like the woodwork. Let's see. Life without you is hopeless. It's dark and depressing. I miss your light. That's what I'm telling you. Guys came in and you just like straight up brightened up this person's life. Like maybe they're living a miserable life and you just like showed them a different way. This is really sweet. I can't take it anymore. I feel like this is that separation here, guys. Drama. There's maybe drama going on in their life. They can't take that shit. Childhood trauma. Okay. Some of them, they were kind of dealing with childhood trauma beforehand. They only take that part if it resonates, but let's see. Anything else they would say to you? I feel like this person said, don't wait for you. There was something here about don't wait for you beforehand. Drama there. I don't know who I am anymore. Yeah, I feel like this person does feel a little bit confused here. They do definitely feel a little bit confused. You guys, I want to dive into this more because their intentions and their feelings, it all seems really, really good. I want to see if there's going to be any actions coming through on this because this does look like this is a collective, like I said. You threw in the towel. And it feels like maybe since you're vibing high as hell, okay? You guys have been brought back together and it looks like what they want and their intentions are definitely to try to move this forward. So I'm going to dig in. I'm going to put the extended link below. We'll see where the hell this takes us. All right. So thank you everybody for watching. If you guys want to join the membership side of things, I do longer videos on the channel. So that link is below if you want to join that. I do several readings and you get a discount with my personal readings on that too, if you're interested. I also have my other channel, Texas Tarot, that is below as well. It's pick a card reading. So anyways, thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I love you guys. Have a good one. Bye.
My name is Robert McMullen. I'm a psychiatrist who's been doing psychopharmacology for over 35 years. And I also do TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is a giant magnet that either stimulates or inhibits neurons in different sections of the brain, used primarily for depression, but also for other things. Now, what I wanted to talk about was SNRIs. And these are basically the antidepressants that came after the SSRIs. The SSRIs were serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So they blocked the reuptake of serotonin into the first neuron, so then you'd end up with more serotonin in the synapse. Now the SNRIs are serotonin and norepinephrine reuptake inhibitors. So they block the reuptake of serotonin and norepinephrine. So both of these accumulate in the synapse and then increase certain transmission down the line. There's three monoamines that when they are increased help depression, and that's serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. And the dopamine is increased by stimulants like Ritalin and Dexedrine and so on. Now, the SNRIs are medications like Cymbalta, duloxetine, Effexor, venlafaxine, Pristiq, which is desvenlafaxine, and Fetsima, which is levomilnacipran. The advantage of the SNRIs over the SSRIs are that they usually work about as well, but they are much less likely to cause weight gain, and they're much less likely to cause sexual dysfunction, although they could. But those are two big problems we have with many of our medications, is a negative effect on weight and on sexual dysfunction. There were some early studies showing that Effexor venlafaxine worked better than the SSRIs for depression, in that more people reached a euthymic state, a normal mood, in 6 weeks than other medications do. Since then, at least I've read recently, it looks like when you compare these SNRIs with SSRIs, there's not much difference in efficacy. And the problem with the Effexor is that it doesn't really become an SNRI until you're above 150 milligrams, which is a pretty significant dose. Below that, it's just an SSRI. And above that, you're going to have a bit more side effects. Another problem with Effexor is that you have to come off of it slowly, or you can have some really significant withdrawal. It's not a withdrawal where you crave it, it's just a withdrawal where you feel miserable and sick. And if that happens, there's a pretty easy solution. You just change slowly to a long-acting medication like Prozac, fluoxetine. And then once you're on that, you can come off that easily. If you're on Prozac at whatever dose you're on and you stop it suddenly, it takes a good 6 weeks to wash out. So that means you're actually going on a slow taper if you stop it suddenly. So you almost never have any withdrawal from Prozac. Of course, it would be better to also reduce that somewhat slowly. Now, how do the SNRIs work? Again, these monoamines seem to increase transmission via, in this case, serotonin and norepinephrine. However, it's much more complicated than that, because immediately within hours of taking this, your serotonin and norepinephrine in the synapse is greatly increased. In the studies, where they usually go up on the dose fairly fast, it is about 10 days when you start to see a statistically significant improvement in mood. We used to say 6 weeks for some reason, but when you look at the actual research, the improvement starts at about 10 days. Yeah, then it's gradual after that, but there's a statistical separation between the real medicine and a placebo at about 10 days. And statistically significant means that if you win 3 chess games and I win 2, then we can't really say that you're a better chess player. But if you win 300 and I win 200, we can say that in all likelihood you're a better chess player. And that's how the researchers make a distinction about how one medication is actually better than another or better than a placebo. They have a statistical way of working that out. And then the person hopefully gradually improves, and that can take 6 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 months, and sometimes you have to add in other things to augment the benefit, like a low dose of lithium or a low dose of a thyroid hormone called cytomel, which is T3, and there are a number of other things such as nutrients that are used as supplements and have double-blind studies showing that they work, and those include inositol, NAC, NAC, which is N-acetylcysteine, and fish oil, and now it looks like probiotics also help. The side effects of the SNRIs can be very similar to the SSRIs, although with less likelihood of the sexual dysfunction and less likelihood of weight gain. They're also a little bit less likely to cause sedation and a little bit more likely to cause activation in some people, to cause some agitation. And this often means, or can mean, that the person is a little bipolar. And we have bipolar people on one side where they have swings and movement in moods, especially manic depression, and then we have people that are purely unipolar. But then there's a vast number of people that are in a spectrum between that, where they're not really very bipolar, but they're not completely unipolar. And there's a great book called A Spectrum Approach to Mood Disorders by James Phelps that came out in 2016, and a lot of psychiatrists are very excited about this book. And he has a great website that's very good for patients to look at. Oh yeah, this is the book here. A Spectrum Approach to Mood Disorders, not fully bipolar, but not unipolar, practical management. It's a great book, and non-MDs can read it very well. And he's a clinician. He's worked all his life taking care of a lot of patients, as well as being university affiliated and being involved with some research. And I think that makes the book much more interesting. Usually textbooks are written by people that are more academic, so they are a collection of summaries of a lot of research, and can be a little numbing, a little boring. Whereas he has a lot of little insights about dealing with people and talking about how far one can go with pushing somebody to take something that they don't really want to take, and things like that. It's a great book, and it's very interesting to read. Now, with people that are a little bit bipolar, they can poop out with either SSRIs or these SNRIs. But the SNRIs seem somewhat worse, that they're a little bit more likely to cycle people, and so they may help, and they may bring you up to normal for a while, and not necessarily going slightly above normal, just the top part of the bipolar can just be normal, but then some few months later, you sink into a big depression. I have a patient I saw today who I've been treating 10 years. He's been hospitalized a number of times, including at the National Institute of Mental Health for treatment-resistant depression, and I think he's a little bipolar because he's been on all these medicines and they haven't worked, and he recently got hospitalized for a medical problem. All his medications were stopped, and I wrote a letter saying that I would like them not to start him on antidepressants because I had a feeling he would do better on no antidepressants for a while, and then we'll think about what to do, maybe use low-dose lithium and low-dose lamotrigine. And sure enough, he's in a normal mood. I've never seen him like this, and he's on virtually no medication. They did start him on some things I'm not that enthusiastic about, and I'm going to try to reduce them. But he was better and in a normal mood before he was started on these agents. Anyhow, so these antidepressants are not without risk, especially if they're not working or if they work for a while and then poop out. Usually people start with an SSRI, and then if the person doesn't do well, then they move to an SNRI. But you don't have to do that. You could just start out with an SNRI right away.
What is the best SNRI? For anxiety?
All the SNRIs actually work for anxiety, even though you would think they wouldn't work as well because of the norepinephrine in them. Norepinephrine is a monoamine that is more stimulating, and in fact it helps with the concentration. So somebody with attention deficit disorder, it helps. I think the best ones are Cymbalta, duloxetine, and Pristiq, which is desvenlafaxine, period. I've used Effexor, venlafaxine, a lot, but you have to go to fairly high doses before it becomes a medication that affects both receptors. Below 150 milligrams, it strictly works on serotonin. And above that, you're also getting into the range of a bit more side effects. Cymbalta, duloxetine is affecting both receptors even at very low doses. I haven't used desvenlafaxine, which is Pristiq, as much, nor have I used a lot of Fetsima. But they also seem to be very effective. And again, if they have significant benefit, my leaning would be not to change them, but to add things to them. And nowadays, a lot of us are starting everybody on ultra-low doses of lithium, like 150 milligrams a day, because in a surprising number of people, it really helps out, and either in a couple of weeks or as the months and years go by. That is my little summary on the SNRIs.
Thank you very much.
Hey you, it's Evie. It's about 5:30 or 6 o'clock this morning. I filmed this yesterday. I couldn't find it on a laptop. So, I tried filming on a laptop because it kind of makes editing easier and faster. Not this time, but I'm going to try it again. Hopefully it works this time. The kids are sleeping, so hopefully they stay asleep while I do this real quick. You know how I've been making a series sharing different medications that I've tried, even some that I haven't tried yet. The point of all this is to help those spoonies that are still trying to find that medicine that helps, because you know that is so hard to do. And then it's also to help those that are taking it to look for these certain side effects and stuff. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to take it. I'm not telling you not to take it. I'm just sharing what others are saying about it, my experience with it, and just things you should look for. Now with Cymbalta, for me, it was right around the very beginning when I first was diagnosed years ago. Is one of the first ones I ever tried. So the reason why I tried it was for the fibromyalgia pain. Some of you might know I like to use drugs.com. They have a lot of the good facts there, so I can read off just a couple little things to you. Cymbalta is also called duloxetine. It's a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor antidepressant. The way it works is still not fully understood. It's used to treat major depressive disorder in adults. It's also used to treat general anxiety disorder in adults and children at least 7 years. It's also used to treat fibromyalgia and osteoarthritis pain, nerve damage in adults with diabetes. Alrighty? First I'll tell you guys, as I was saying, when I first started taking Cymbalta, it was the very beginning stages. Now that I've gone through all the years of trying different medicines, and you know how it is. You start one medicine, you have to be off of another one for so long. Then you gotta give this new medicine so many weeks, sometimes a month, for it to even work, to fully know if it's going to help you or not. Now, to be honest with you, my experience with Cymbalta sucked. It's the best way I could describe it. It's like taking the medicine made me feel like I was going through withdrawals, because I got off of one medicine. I think that might have been the gabapentin. That I already shared that one with you, but this one, about a week in, I was really having a hard time, and I remember calling the doctor. They would tell me that you got to give it weeks because it needs to get in your system. I believe I was on that for at least a month, and I couldn't take it, you guys. I actually ended up quitting my job, making the symptoms so much worse. It's like all my pain and all my symptoms amplified. Yeah, my pain then is not like it was today. It's definitely progressed, especially after having my children. It's gotten a lot worse, but it was like every symptom just was amplified than was before taking the medicine, if that makes sense. Cymbalta for me was not good. I couldn't wait to get off of that crap. Guys, I hopped onto our fibromyalgia support group on Facebook. I had asked you guys over there. Hopefully you can see that. Facebook.com/fibromyalgia pain. And I put, alright, Spoonies, have you tried Cymbalta? Does it help for you? If not, were there any side effects? Thanks in advance for sharing. Much love, Fibromom. Now, there was almost 3,500 people that seen that. So there's quite a few comments. I can't read them all. I'll read a couple. Spoonies that are coming from the Facebook page to watch this, thanks so much for sharing your experience with all of us, because I think that's what really helps. I think your name's pronounced Essel. I'm sorry. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Cymbalta helps some. I have tried gabapentin and it works better for nerve pain. Okay. Pamela says that is the next step for me. I keep rejecting it because you get sick if you skip a dose, and it's one of the harder drugs to get off of. Rex says I've been on duloxetine, which is a generic for Cymbalta. I'm told it's the same thing for 2 weeks now. The first week was a killer. Constant nausea, feverish feeling. I felt very agitated and almost stopped taking it. Yes, it definitely made me feel agitated too. But I don't know if that was because all my symptoms were flared up. I have a loss of appetite and I need to go to the bathroom pretty much after each glass of water. But other than that, it's not having any effect. I'm still getting my pains, but I was told that it would take a month before I felt the effects of it, so I'll see what happens. Good luck, Rex. I hope it helps you. Amy says, I've been on it for a while now. I take 60 milligrams at night before bed. This is one of the few RX I have not had a reaction to. I don't notice so much of a difference in pain levels when I take it, but I do notice if I forget. It's never made me sick by missing a dose. The one benefit I truly get from it is it makes getting out of bed so much easier in the morning. I am more clear-headed and less likely to oversleep. Oh, that's nice. I was going to say, Amy, why are you taking it if it's not helping your pain? But it's helping you in the mornings more. If someone with fibromyalgia, You know, mornings are brutal. So that's really nice to hear. Joanne says, I've been on Cymbalta for a couple of years now. I've definitely gained weight and I have slight tremor. It takes the edge off the fibro symptoms and helps with depression. I don't dare miss a dose or I will go to immediate withdrawal. Lena says Cymbalta raised my blood pressure and I had blurred vision. It took quite a long time after tapering off to get my blood pressure back under control. My vision cleared during the taper, thankfully. I've tried all other meds out there and had a stroke from the last one. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Lena. That's awful. Okay, I'll just leave it as that for now. I will put drugs.com in a description box so you can check it out for yourself. I'm just kind of going over it a little bit with you guys. If there's specific things you're looking for, let me know and I'll share more of that in the video. They have things on here like do not use Cymbalta if you have used an MAO inhibitor in the last 14 days. Some young people have thoughts about suicide. When first taking an antidepressant, your doctor will need to check your progress. Regular visits while you are using Cymbalta. Your family or other caregivers should also be alert to changes in your mood or symptoms. Report any new worsening symptoms to your doctor, such as mood, behavior changes, anxiety, panic attacks, trouble sleeping, or if you feel impulsive, irritable, agitated, hostile, aggressive, restless, hyperactive, mentally or physically. Now there's a list of things that you need to talk to your doctor before taking it, like ablating or blood clotting disorder, high blood pressure, seizures, epilepsy, liver, kidney disease, bipolar, manic depression, history of drug abuse, or suicidal thoughts. Mothers that are breastfeeding should not take. It's not a medicine that you can quickly stop. Alright, some side effects. I just read you some, but there's also a lightheaded feeling, blurred vision, easy bruising, unusual bleeding, painful, difficult urination, liver problems, high levels of serotonin in the body, that leads to agitation, hallucinations, overactive reflexes, vomiting, diarrhea, low levels of sodium in the body, so headache, confusion, weakness, vomiting, loss of coordination, feeling unsteady. Severe nervous system reaction, very stiff, muscle confusion, faster uneven heartbeats.
What the fuck?
What's up, everybody? Dr. Rossi, TraceTheSneakers.com. I've been rolling through a lot of these most commonly prescribed medications, and I want to move on to the medication duloxetine, also known as Cymbalta. Now, if any of you remember, and you could probably look this up, there was a really funny kind of marketing campaign and commercials that were created for this medication, and it went something like this. When you're depressed, who do you want to see? No one. Where do you want to go? Nowhere. Depression hurts. Cymbalta can help. Right? This was like to me, it was very funny the way they were kind of presenting this information and kind of presenting the way Cymbalta could potentially help somebody with depression. And they may have, of course, overstated those claims a little bit in the marketing. But we'll talk about the medication because a lot of people are taking it. It's very commonly prescribed. And it actually may be prescribed for some disorders that you may not have expected. Right? You may think of it as a depression medication because that's kind of how it was marketed. But there's more to it than just that. So let's get into some of the details about this medication and what makes it sort of unique and why, it may help some people with depression, but may also help with some other disorders. So Cymbalta, like some of the other medications we've talked about, namely venlafaxine, Cymbalta is a serotonin norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor and is classified as an antidepressant primarily. It has FDA approvals for a number of things. Of course, it has FDA approval for major depressive disorder. It also has FDA approval for some medical things like diabetic peripheral neuropathy. It has FDA approval for fibromyalgia. It also has FDA approval for generalized anxiety disorder and for chronic musculoskeletal pain. So this medication can sometimes be used for somebody who has a lot of somatic or physical complaints associated with their depression. So if they have like a lot of pain associated with their depression, this medication may be a good choice for that person. So we may prescribe it in that case. If somebody has comorbid diabetes and has peripheral neuropathy, that's another good place for it. And it's one of the few medications approved for fibromyalgia, which we can talk about in another video if anybody's interested in a discussion on fibromyalgia. Now, the mechanism of action is going to be actually quite similar to venlafaxine in many ways. We're going to be boosting norepinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine. So what this does is it blocks the serotonin reuptake pump, similar to all other antidepressants. It also blocks the norepinephrine reuptake pump. And since dopamine is in the prefrontal cortex, in the prefrontal cortex of the brain, dopamine is actually largely inactivated by norepinephrine reuptake. The same kind of pumps that you would see in other parts of the central nervous system. There's going to actually be increased dopamine in the prefrontal cortex as well, and it does act to weakly block dopamine reuptake as well. So there's a little bit of a dopamine component here, which makes it a little more unique than say things like venlafaxine. Well, it's kind of similar to venlafaxine. I shouldn't say that. It's a little different, but again, so there's some dopamine as well. Dosing for depression is 40 milligrams per day, and you're going to divide that up into 2 doses usually, so possibly something like 20 milligrams twice a day. And it can be increased to 60 milligrams per day in a single dose or divided dose with a maximum of 120 milligrams per day. So the 120 milligrams
Yo,
divided
yikes,
in
what's up?
doses if necessary.
How is it
For
going?
neuropathic pain and fibromyalgia, the initial dose is a little bit higher. It's actually 30 milligrams per day,
What is this
and you're going
emote?
to have a target
Yes.
dose of 60 milligrams per day. There is not much
I
evidence
feel
to support
horrible.
doses higher than
I
60
wanna
milligrams
vomit.
per day for people with neuropathic pain or fibromyalgia.
I might go offline
So you want to cut it at
any
60
moment
milligrams.
because I
If
really
you're
feel
not
bad.
having success there, then you should probably think about a different medication. For general
I took Dulox. I got the antidepressant. I took it like 6 hours ago, and it's like I feel so bad. I feel like I'm on meth. I wanna vomit. I feel like unrest. It's crazy. It's like really crazy. It's horrible feeling right now. And they say it's gonna be like this for 2 weeks. So what the fuck? I have problems like getting deep breaths in, and it's all weird. It's so weird.
Generalized anxiety disorder, again, it's different in terms of the initial dosing.
Oh, don't
You're
be
going to
sorry.
start at 60 milligrams per day, so start a little bit higher,
Yeah,
and
it
you're going to get
sucks
to a
big
maximum dose
time.
of
Holy
potentially of
shit.
120 milligrams per day.
So I'm
I
looking up
found
all
if
kinds of
people don't
videos.
have a lot of success by
I watched like 5 hours so far of just footage. Yes, very strong. And yeah,
60 milligrams, they don't have that much more
if you're
success
interested,
at 90 or
let's watch some.
120. And then what ends up happening is the side effect burden becomes more of a problem because you're on
Yeah, I'll
much
type the
higher
name of what I'm
doses
using. Maybe
than what
you wanna
is
check it.
generally needed to treat those disorders. In most cases, like I said, 60 milligrams is a good dose, and you
Yeah, I'm
should start to
trying.
see an adequate response at that point. Although some people will
It's rough.
require more 90 milligrams, 120 milligrams a day, but there is not much research to support doses over 120 milligrams per day. And if you were to do that, you best be an expert in that area of treatment and know the consequences and potential risks of going above the 120 milligram mark. Doses of 60 milligrams, like I said, for fibromyalgia or neuropathic pain are the best. There's no evidence to support a significant improvement above 60 milligrams. So that's your cutoff for neuropathic pain and
I gotta
fibromyalgia.
focus on my breathing
With this medication,
to
like
keep it
with
together. It's so
venlafaxine,
crazy.
you're going to want to monitor blood pressure prior to
I
and
feel like
after prescribing Cymbalta.
meth.
It's essential. You need to know that the person's not getting hypertensive as a result of the medication.
Lay down.
If you're stopping the medication, it's always a good idea
I
to
don't know.
taper it to avoid withdrawal symptoms, especially on the higher doses. So if you're on 90 or 120 milligrams, you're going to want to taper that off over a few weeks minimum, and possibly even longer, depending on how the patient's responding to that situation. Notable side effects. They include the things that you would expect with most of these medications: nausea, diarrhea, decreased appetite, dry mouth, constipation, which is dose dependent, insomnia, dizziness, sweating, sexual dysfunction, sedation, increased blood pressure, and
I
another
should have not
interesting
started
one, which this is
taking it
actually used for in some
until
cases,
the end
is
of the week,
urinary
because I
retention.
actually had.
So people who have urinary
I have 2
incontinence,
workouts that I
sometimes
wanna
this
finish very
medication,
strong,
Cymbalta or
because
duloxetine,
I'm
can be used for people with stress, urinary
finishing
incontinence.
a bulk right now.
Augmentation experience with
And
this
if
medication
this
is
is
a
gonna
little
continue
bit
tomorrow, I
limited.
don't know what
It's
to do.
not as common, although it follows the same principles as venlafaxine. So
Should
you
have
could
waited a
pretty
week.
much you supplement this medication in place of venlafaxine in the California Rocket Fuel formula that we've talked about in previous videos. So to summarize this whole thing, duloxetine works well for the painful physical symptoms of depression. It does have the risk of causing hypertension, similar to venlafaxine. It's not well studied in things like ADHD, although it has been explored for this purpose, doesn't have FDA approval for it. And like I said, in some countries, it is used for stress urinary incontinence. So it's
Yeah,
a good
sure.
medication. It's a different mechanism again than your
I have not felt like this sort of weird energy forever. This is like back then when I was on, I don't know, cocaine speed kind of meth energy. This is ridiculous. Like I feel it in my fingertips, you know. And I feel like uneasy, very uneasy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a crazy drug. It is an SNRI. It's like an upgrade of an SSRI. It inhibits the reuptake of serotonin and norepinephrine. I think it's called noradrenaline. Mm. So did it help? Didn't work. And then you had to come down. Was the withdrawal crazy? Zombie. Mm.
your traditional serotonin reuptake inhibitors and this may be a medication that people respond to if they didn't do well on plain serotonin reuptake inhibitors. If you guys have questions or comments about duloxetine or Cymbalta, I'm happy to answer them below. Please drop them there. And like and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep you updated on the latest medications as well as the most commonly prescribed ones.
Ein Blick in die aktuelle Energie der Liebe, dein Liebesleben,
I love her
dein
voice.
Liebespartner, dein
This voice is ridiculous. It's like a voice actor voice. Here I put the subtitles on for you. Let's listen to this one.
Herzmensch. Vielleicht bist du aber auch Single. Welche aktuelle Energie schwirrt hier quasi um dich herum?
It's fine, I'm
Das
comfortable.
schaue ich mir jetzt an und in diesem Sinne, hello, hello Sunshine. Schauen wir doch mal, was die heutige Legung zu sagen hat. Und ich sehe hier, dass du irgendwie kämpfst, wenn es um die Liebe geht. Man kämpft für etwas, man hält vielleicht durch, um etwas zu erreichen. Vielleicht ist hier auch einfach Gegenwind gerade in einer Verbindung und du kämpfst dagegen an. Also so ein Kampf. Vielleicht ist es auch ein Kampf mit dir selbst. Auf jeden Fall sehe ich den Pagen der Kelche und da ist jemand. Da ist jemand. Entweder ist dieser Mensch jünger als du oder es ist ein Mensch, der sehr frisch in deinem Leben ist. Ja, vielleicht hast du neulich wen kennengelernt. Vielleicht ist das aber auch jemand, mit dem es nur bis zur Kennenlernphase gelangt hat. Ja, und danach ging es nicht in eine feste Beziehung. Ich sehe hier quasi so eine Liebschaft, so eine Datingphase, so eine Kennenlernphase und die bereitet dir Kopfschmerzen, ja. Da ist ein Mensch da draußen. Entweder kennst du den bereits oder eben nicht. Und es macht dir zum Beispiel Kopfschmerzen, dass du noch keinen neuen Menschen getroffen hast. Aber der ist da. Ja, der ist da, sagt das Tarot. Was noch? Die Liebe, Liebe. Ei. Wir haben einen Hinweis. Stier, Jungfrau, Steinbock. Krebs, Skorpion, Fische kommt mir durch. König der Münzen ist ein sehr, sehr stabiler Mensch. Sehr weltlich. Könnte jemand sein, der mit Geld zu tun hat, in der Geldbranche irgendwie arbeitet oder aber der dir Geld gegeben hat, meinetwegen dein Sparkassenberater. Vielleicht ist es auch jemand, bei dem du mal was gekauft hast oder so. Aber ich sehe, dass dieser Mensch im Rückzug ist. Der ist nicht da, beziehungsweise weg. Krankheitsbedingt, vielleicht ist auch in seinem Leben viel los. Ich sehe auf jeden Fall einen Rückzug. Und ich habe das Gefühl, es macht euch beiden zu schaffen. Vielleicht, also für alle Singles da draußen, die sagen, ne, da ist überhaupt niemand in meinem Leben, kommt es mir hier so durch, dass du darunter leidest, dass eben dieser Mensch nicht da ist, den du dir aber so sehr wünschst, für den du hier so sehr kämpfst. Vielleicht sind deine Gedanken und Gefühle dahingehend, dass du unbedingt einen Partner haben möchtest, auch sehr stark aktuell. Ja? Aber hier ist auch für dich jemand. Ein König der Münzen, das ist eine sehr, sehr schöne Energie. Und ich würde gerne mal wissen, ein Blick in die aktuelle Liebessituation. 9 der Kelche, ganz, ganz viel Gefühl. Gefühlsöffnung, Herzöffnung ist möglich und Beziehung. 10 der Münzen. Ach jemine. Der Turm.
Oh, it's a tower.
Egal, wer das hier für dich ist. Hier muss gesprochen werden, sagen die Karten. Hier muss gesprochen werden. Hier muss Altes verbannt werden. Alte Probleme.
Man, like, for this past week, I'm listening to these love readings by like 20 different people and they are all the same. Is this like, what is happening? Like, everybody is more or less saying the same. And I went through like the deck multiple times trying to figure out like why would they say the same, and it doesn't make sense because there is like very different cards, very different. And though like every time I get like the 8 of Cups, I get them so often. 2 of Pentacles, I get them so often. Empress, many times. These 3 I get like multiple times, so many times.
Probleme müssen geklärt werden. Alte Vorwürfe, die man dem anderen macht, müssen ausgesprochen werden. Ich sehe, dass hier unbedingt etwas Altes gehen muss.
You feel alone,
Vielleicht
sure.
ist es auch, falls du wie gesagt Single bist, so eine alte Einstellung von dir. Ja, dass du vielleicht hier so krampfhaft unbedingt jemanden haben möchtest, der jetzt aber gerade nicht da ist und dich kostet das sehr viel Kraft. Dann ist das so ein Appell hier vom Tarot heute, lass das. Ja, denn manchmal ist es wirklich so im Leben, wenn wir Dinge
Yeah, I guess.
loslassen, dann auf einmal passiert's. Dann auf einmal kommen sie von ganz alleine. Ja, das ist wie wenn dir dein Hund, der ist ausgebüxt und du jagst den durch den Garten und der merkt so, oh, die rennt mir hinterher, toll. Dann rennt er noch schneller weg. Wenn du aber irgendwann sagst, so, Fuffi, ich gehe jetzt rein, denkt er sich, hä, wo ist die? Und dann kommt er von ganz alleine ins Haus geschiedert. So ist es ganz oft auch mit Männern tatsächlich. Tatsächlich. Und hier
I'm getting insane hot flash coming on right now, and I'm getting really sick. I need to throw up. Okay. I have the bin ready here. Fuck.
darf was hinter sich gelassen werden, damit hier wieder ein Teamwork möglich ist. Ja, hier ist ein ganz, ganz starker Hinweis, dass ein offenes Gespräch notwendig ist oder eben das Offensein für neue Möglichkeiten, für neue Menschen. Für einige habe ich auch das Gefühl, ein alter Mensch muss vergessen werden, darf hinter sich gelassen werden, damit hier eben etwas Neues in dein Leben findet. Ich hätte jetzt gerne mal eine Botschaft der Tiere
I mean, it's a
auf
good
die
sign,
aktuelle
right? 'Cause
Situation
that
in
means
der
it's gonna work.
Liebe. Die Kraft der
So I know from
kleinen
the get-go
Dinge,
I'm gonna
ich liebe
be-
diese Karte. Die
This is gonna work
Maus
on me.
erinnert dich daran, auch die kleinen Ereignisse des Lebens zu schätzen. Große Veränderungen im Leben entstehen oft aus den kleinsten Handlungen. Da habt das. Man will hier zum Beispiel diesen Menschen wieder an seiner Seite haben oder überhaupt mal jemanden an seiner Seite haben. Man will aber gleich von 0 auf 100. Und hier sagen die Karten, das funktioniert nicht. Du kannst dich auch nicht von hier nach Paris beamen. Du musst den langen Weg nach Paris fahren oder fliegen von mir aus. Und ich habe das Gefühl, da draußen, ne, Team Sunshine, man will jetzt alles auf einmal. Ich will jetzt sofort einen Partner und er soll mir am ersten Tag im Bestfall einen Ring an den Finger stecken. Ja, also ich will sofort eine Beziehung, im Bestfall heiraten und sofort ein Kind kriegen. Oder aber du bist hier in einer Anfangsphase oder es ist noch relativ frisch, man hat gesagt, man lässt sich Zeit mit jemandem und du willst jetzt sofort aber, dass ihr in einer Beziehung seid. Und die kleine Maus, ja, sagt, lass dich von deiner Neugier und Intuition leiten und vertraue darauf, dass alles aus einem ganz bestimmten Grund passiert. Dein Liebesleben, wie ist das gerade? Das hat einen Grund. Ja, nichts passiert ohne Grund, sagen die Karten. Nichts, aber auch wirklich nichts. Okay, in der Liebe hätte ich jetzt ganz gerne mal 2, vielleicht auch 3 Energien, die gerade bei dir Thema sind. Was ist gerade in Bezug auf die Liebe Thema? Vielleicht auch etwas, was du gar nicht siehst. Vielleicht ist aber auch etwas, wo du sagst, yo, das ist gerade voll das Problem. Das Haus ist gefallen. Du bist gerade eher zu Hause, ja? Du
Very
gehst
cute.
wenig raus. Wenn man wenig rausgeht, lernt man wenig Menschen kennen, ja? Das Problem hier in der Liebe ist vielleicht auch, dass du, falls es jemand anderen gibt, dich so ein bisschen nach Hause verzogen hast. Ja, auch bei dir sehe ich den Rückzug. Ihr habt euch voneinander entfernt und ich habe das Gefühl, keiner macht so einen Schritt auf den anderen zu. Ja, man hat gesagt, so, dann bin ich halt auch zu Hause, dann kann die Liebe mich halt mal. Also nach dem Motto, das ist hier ein Problem, sagen die Karten. Aber ich habe das Gefühl, viele von euch sind einfach gerne oder viel zu Hause und haben sich vielleicht sogar so ein bisschen dahin verkrümelt und da sagt das Lenormand wirklich so, ja, geh doch mal raus, ne? Treff dich doch mal mit jemandem. Vielleicht ist ja auch ein
gotta
Treffen mit
upload.
jemandem notwendig, wo
Update
ihr
the vlog.
sprecht, ja? Dass man hier Step by Step mal wieder vorankommt. Aber dafür muss man eben auch das Haus verlassen oder seine Komfortzone verlassen, ja? Oder über seinen Schatten springen und aus dem Gewohnten herauskommen. Das zweite Ding in der Liebe ist, dass du noch nicht aufgeräumt hast. Du möchtest zum Beispiel ein Haus bauen auf einem Grundstück, was schon belegt ist. Also für alle, die vergeben sind, wenn du dir ernsthaft einen neuen Menschen an deiner Seite wünschst, dann musst du dich erstmal von dem alten trennen. Period. Oder aber du möchtest wieder neu daten oder wünschst dir jemanden, hängst aber irgendwie noch mit einem Bein voll an deinem Ex-Partner. Die Routen sagen, räum auf. Das J könnte auch eine Rolle spielen, genau wie C und M, der Buchstabe. Auch das H kommt mit durch. Hier muss aufgeräumt werden. Ja, vielleicht auch etwas aufräumen, was im letzten November passiert ist. Also du bist hier noch nicht sauber, dein Grundstück ist
Even
noch
the
nicht
months.
frei
She
für
said
die
something happened
Bauarbeiten,
in
soll ich dir
November.
sagen.
Like, why would you say
Und
that?
der Brunnen
It's
aufgearbeitet
right.
wurde auch nicht. Da ist noch Schmerz. Schmerz, Kummer, Leid.
Ah, this is too much for me. Fuck. You think it's gonna help? Wet towel? I can't even explain how I feel. It is so weird. Like, so weird. I feel like I'm sick. Like I'm on meth. I feel like very uneasy, very just horrible. And I have these hot flashes. They're coming in waves. They are crazy. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I will. Hmm. Fuck. What did I get myself into? All right, you take care too. Yo, thank you so much for coming by. Have a great night. I'll see you around. Holy shit. Watch something chill. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I can't really like watch TV series or anything, like not even anime, nothing. I just like this depression is taking all of my joy. You know? It's like I can't even do it to everything I watch, it has something to do with learning, exploring myself, mental health, stuff like that. And currently like a bunch of love readings. Relax brain, I really wish I could. I wish so much I could. Yeah. I feel so giga weird. It's so nuts. I made a little video. I made a little video about it, and I'm gonna make a little short every day for the next 2 weeks, and then like vlog all of this antidepressant journey. I think it could be interesting. Hmm. Good night, GG. Yo, what's up, Sainfield? Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even realize it was affiliate anniversary. What's up, man? How you doing? I feel horrible, man. I'm like trying to compose myself, trying to keep it together. I don't even know how to explain it. I wanna like explode. I took the antidepressant, and now it's like I'm on meth. I wanna vomit and all kinds of bullshit. It's so weird. It's so weird, dude. Hmm. Yeah, this is the exact side effect. The exact, and I get it like pinpoint. Nausea, dizziness, unrest. Probably both, yeah. Mm, 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 mm. This is. It's like I'm on meth, man. Got told to say hi in my bed, manners. What you doing, man? What are you up to? I need something to, I don't know, to calm down. Laid my heart on ChatGPT. What do you mean? It read your birth chart, okay? So, okay, what was the outcome then? Did you get any insight, closure, or inspiration? I'm a big softie. Yeah. Hmm. Tell me about it. Did you get anything? Yeah. He's just in there. That's crazy. Okay, I talked about this with a friend today, and she told me maybe ChatGPT was so accurate with the things because it already knows you from earlier discussions. I was gonna look into that and explicitly ask ChatGPT how much of this is read from the chart alone and how much is from you knowing me by now, because I've been talking to ChatGPT for a while yet now, you know? So that is an interesting point that we have to take account. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Scary. Scary accurate. Okay, I need a sec. I got another wave of hot flash and vomiting coming. It is horrible, dude. I swear this is like going on for hours like this. I got the bin here. I'm ready to throw up. Oh my. Man, what the fuck? Yeah, that meme. Wait, he always said thank you. I don't deserve to be spared, but to be spared is a good thing, no? My heart rate is up. My breathing is fast. Yeah, I think so. They say it's gonna be like this for 2 weeks. I'm, I don't, I'm not ready for this. Yeah. Okay. I'm very curious of the outcome. I am looking forward. I do not want to be on this for all my life, but if it helps me like a bridge, just to be able to work for 2 years, steadily get everything, the way I want it to be, and not always have to deal with these fucking setbacks, then fuck it, dude. I'll just go through it. And then if this gets me to the other side, where the grass is green, then I might not even need it anymore, and then we go from there. But for now, I believe this is the right way. because I tried everything else. I'm on vitamins, sunlight, working out, diet, all kinds of bullshit. It's like this is last resort. And I'm really looking forward. It's gonna be a fun 2 weeks. I'm breathing like I'm fucking. I'm dying. Yeah. It's been rough. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. It's like I'm on meth, man. It's like meth energy. What is this? Did you feel like you have to write it like this, or did you do it for a meme, like for the sentient kind of meme? Or was it because you really felt like this? Hold out, man. Just keep on hanging on. Keep on keeping on, dude. Yeah. Bro, if this is the first time you're talking to ChatGPT, I swear, get the pro version. I got the pro version, and it's the best spend ever. Like, it's so fucking good. And it's like I do everything with ChatGPT. It's so fucking good. Soon enough, it's gonna be integrated like, I don't know, like a grammar correction in Word. It's gonna be everywhere, in your watch, in your phone, on demand, instantly. Yeah, the separation is already happening of people using it and people not using it. And the ones that are not using it are way behind, dude. It's crazy. And yeah, if it's your first time using this, check out YouTube videos like how to prompt correctly and like prompt suggestions, and you're gonna be amazed of what all the possibilities. It's crazy, dude. Hmm. Just understand, it is not sentient yet. It only knows what you give it. It's pretty convincing, making you feel like it's a person, an actual one. But yeah, soon enough it's gonna be. Yeah, absolutely. I know it's hyper intelligent conversations that really make you also feel heard and everything. It's crazy. It's so good. As I said, I'm paying for the pro version and it's the best spend ever. Like, Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Sure, man. Meth. I'm on meth. 10 more years. What do you mean? Well, uh, we are in the craziest time ever, and everything is just gonna be exponentially changing from here on out with the availability of AI. It's at our fingertips, and you can't even 5-year plan anymore. So much change is happening. Max like 2 years, something like that. So don't worry. You're gonna have 5 different lives within the next 10 years. It's crazy, and I'm absolutely convinced. Trust me, I'm a doctor. The amount of changes we're gonna go through in terms of politics, in terms of medical achievements, in terms of pretty much the zeitgeist is gonna be transforming multiple times over. And we are not ready for it. That is my only fear. It is absolutely stunning of the possibilities, and that alone is pretty scary, but more than that, we are just not ready for it as a species, as a whatever kind of capacity we have intellectually currently. We are not fucking ready for what's to come, dude. Next is gonna be AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. And it's gonna solve problems. World hunger, all kinds of bullshit is gonna be dealt with. Yeah, we did, and this is the way out. I swear, this is the only way out. This is the only way out, dude. That's the only way out I see. Of AGI telling us how to fix ourselves. I swear, dude. Because otherwise, I don't see it. That's why so many people don't want to have children. They say that it's not going anywhere because it's just bullshit. Even in the most privileged countries, people have this view. Hmm. Now imagine the shitholes. Holy fuck. We need like an alien invasion. Something that makes humans understand that we are the same. Some sort of a common enemy, so that we realize we are not enemies ourselves. That's the only way to fix it. Yeah. It starts with mental health and generational trauma, which is being passed down to. And figuring this out, dealing with it, and working on your mental health, getting stable and understanding yourself and all of these kind of things that has to do with it. Our society is not meant for it, because you are meant to work 9 to 5 every day, be ready, steady, available, blah, blah, blah. When in reality, you need to be clinically observed because just so much trauma is going on. So there is no pause button for nobody. The world just gonna keep spinning, and money is gonna have to be spent. But our society is not meant to be, imagine you come home from work and then you have like not much time left to deal with whatever bullshit, other bullshit, and then you have to like figure out mental health. And then imagine you have children at the same time. There is no way. No way. And that is just because of the society and how it's structured. And therefore, you have so many adults just, sick. And they're gonna stay sick. Me being able to work on this and doing all the things I'm doing, I'm highly privileged, Is it that you feel, is it monetary pressure, or what are you saying when you say work in terms of a job and making money, or what is it? Because, man, I understand. No matter how much people say, money is not the world, don't be materialistic, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the month, you have to pay your rent. You have to buy food. Everything is bound with money. You know this meme when they say traveling is not a matter of money. And then underneath, it's like, how do you want to pay the traveling ticket? It's like PayPal, bank, credit card, or courage. Yeah, absolutely. I know, man. I know, bro. I know, bro. No. This is nope. But therefore, you have the AI now, so you can, try to figure out something for yourself. And they say people are waking up. Yeah. But dude, forget about this. Forget about it. These people do not concern you. Build your own world and have whatever control you have for your own, because you cannot control anything. Just completely go like this, and it's not ignorance. It is just absolute. How do you say? Logic. First of all, you do not care about other people, what they think, and if they are fake, let them be fake. What is your, what are you making it up, comparing it to? It doesn't matter once you stop thinking about it. And the expensive thing, that is a real deal. So now you have an option. You can either keep working 9 to 5, trying to like make ends meet barely, or you can like maybe try and figure out some skills and have your job and do something on the side, which I know is hard and nobody has time for it. But man, 1 hour a day, and then eventually you're gonna get into a routine with it, and you're gonna grow and learn more and more and more. Get a fucking skill, let ChatGPT help you, and make some money, dude. Somehow, I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities. This is the only way. Physical jobs, forget it. Forget about it. You have to use the internet for it. And I'm trying to figure it out myself. So yeah, I'm in the middle of all of it. Are you talking about money, or are you talking about deep connection? You gotta make a cut. When you're talking about money, there is no connections. You gotta play the game. As stupid as it is. Hmm. You're never gonna get to what you're looking for if you're not keeping it separate like this. It's you're gonna be fucked, man. It's gonna be so hard. You gotta be very, very lucky. And that is the misery. That is exactly the misery, because it's so hopeless. I know. But you better get rid of this deep connection, spirituality, love. When talking about money, forget it. It's not gonna work. You're gonna have to be working for a good time, go monk mode, and then hopefully you are stable enough and got some sort of an income besides the job, where you can say you're a little bit more free, and therefore you have time to get to these deep connections. But it's separation, absolutely. I know it sounds awful, but that is exactly how it is. Hmm. Yeah, but I mean, now we have so much more possibilities, and you just started off with ChatGPT, so no confidence, man. You're smart enough. You're gonna figure it out. Uh, this is like you have to let go of this thought. I see more for you. You have to realize it that you have the possibilities and you have the abilities, and you can do it. And it's gonna feel slow because you're at the very start, but just start. You said you're gonna wait until May or something for whatever you wanted to do. Whenever, man, whenever you feel ready, just do something. Even if it's half-assed, just fucking start. And the rest will fall into place. Believe in yourself, believe in the process of just keep on keeping on. Mm. I know, man. Sudden expenditure is always fucking insane, especially like if you have a car and stuff. It's so crazy. I know, man. Netherlands is uh, one of the more expensive countries. Yeah, now is a good time. We have currently a little bit of a nice situation going on here. We have a good start in the week. Yeah. So if we can break this resistance, it's gonna be really nice. Currently at 91. As soon as we break this, next is gonna be 94, and then this is gonna be really hard to break. But if, then would be nice. So let's see what's gonna happen. Pro tip: going gold. Gold is chef's kiss. Get into gold ASAP. XCN, what is XCN? Onyx coin, I don't know about it. Hmm. Be $1. I wish you good luck, man. I stay away from everything besides Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, and XRP. Everything else is gambling. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, if 600 doesn't hurt you, then fuck it. It could be insane. So good luck, man. I feel like this one could be interesting for us. Check it out. This is Ray. I'm gay for Ray. He is such a bigger
I am Ray, and are you bound by the golden chains of morality? You see, water that is too pure has no fish. What does this mean? Fish is life, and life is balance. Balance between the two primordial energies, order and chaos. You see, one mistake that many spiritual people make, or at least people who want to grow closer to God, we have a tendency to overemphasize order and reject chaos. Because chaos is the force of destruction, whereas order is the force of creation. We reject the darkness because we are conditioned to believe that the darkness is wrong, that it is bad, that it is evil. Conditioned through millions of years of evolution. I mean, if you think about it, if you're standing around a fire, that fire is life. That fire is order. The fire is the known. But around the fire is chaos. It is the unknown. At any moment, a big, scary thing might come out and grab you and pull you into the darkness. So we are biologically primed to run away from chaos, the unknown, the darkness, because this is death. Another way of looking at it is that life is the balance between the death force and the life force. Life with a capital L. And in the same way, death with a capital D is the imbalance between the death force and the life force. That is why water that is too pure have no fish. Because on the spiritual path, we have the tendency to get trapped in the pitfall of being too spiritual, of being too moral, of trying to be too pure. Why is this the case? It's simple.
I know what he's on about, and I love it, dude. It's part of the shadow work that I was trying to explain you. It's just accepting the bad parts of you, the darkness. It's not giving in, it's just being able to understand it, control it. It is part of you. I love this yin-yang kind of ideology. It is so strong and so most making sense. It's so good.
Simply because if we take a stand in our identity and we say, I am a spiritual person, I'm a religious person, as you probably know, most people are heavily attached to their identity associated with religion. And so when you attack their religion, they become triggered, they become emotional, they get all crazy. And this is the same thing. One of the harshest wake-up calls that many people will face is one day being faced with the truth that they were in fact not being moral, they were not being spiritual, but that they were simply wearing a mask. They were wearing the mask of virtue. And all of these spiritual games, all of these moral games were but a front to reinforce their ego identity. And in this, you see all the same things. This right here is what leaves a bad taste in people's mouths about religion and about spirituality. Because people who wear the mask of morality, everything will be a subtle game of putting other people down and raising themselves up, making others the villain and themselves the hero. And so they will judge others, they will get emotionally triggered, and even attack with violence sometimes. The moment you threaten their identity and they get triggered in that way, you know they are not truly being moral, they're not truly being spiritual. They are in the grip of the ego. However, in the same regard, there may be an honest attempt to be good, to be virtuous. And that is what it means to be a slave to the golden chains. In other words, you're too good for your own good. For the same reason as the fake spiritual people. When you are attached to the identity of being so virtuous, when you identify as the hero, a lot of things happen. First of all, you will naturally feel guilt and shame anytime you betray this identity, because you will have felt that you have betrayed yourself. So, for instance, and you see this all over the place, when a religious person sins, they go through this whole psychological drama of how terrible a person they are, of how guilty they feel, of how shameful they feel. And yes, repentance is good. But I say, do not get trapped in this psychological drama. Because what it means to wear
I'm
the
gonna take some
golden
magnesium
chains
now and
is that
zinc.
because of your holier than thou identity, or even your just honest attempt to be good,
I'm on
to live
meth.
a righteous life, you will still be a slave to guilt and shame. You will be a slave to sin. In other words, you will be a slave to the darkness. Why? Because the darkness is not something you will want to touch. You will naturally run away from it. Because the darkness is the villain. So in order for you to justify your position as the hero, as the spiritual person, you need others to be a villain. You need to fight against the darkness. Life is quite paradoxical. The moment you identify as the hero, the first action, the first thing that you do, the moment you claim this identity, is you create the villain. How virtuous are you now that the first thing you do is create the villain? That when you claim to be good, the first thing you do is create evil. Because in order for you to be good, there has to be others that are evil.
Exactly, and that is so strong. This is how when the first self-conscious being started to be and was aware of itself and said, I. There cannot be I without the others at the same time. That is how ego was born. This is so strong, dude. This is crazy, crazy strong.
In order for you to be the hero, somebody else has to be the villain.
Because there's always two
And
sides.
in the same right, if someone claims to be the villain, the first thing they do is create a hero. And if somebody claims to be evil, the first thing they do is create others who are good. So the first action of the hero is negative, and the first action of the villain is positive. You see, there's a
Wow.
reason why it is said that the
This
road to
is
hell
great.
is paved with good intentions.
Hmm.
You see, when you so strongly have an identity to morality, our mind causes us to only focus on things that reaffirm our belief and ignore everything else. It has to do this because if we focused our attention on everything, we would go schizophrenic. And so our body saves resources by only focusing on the things that are relevant to our chosen identity. And so what happens is when you are so attached to this identity of being the hero, of being virtuous, you automatically become blind to all the ways that you are not so. In other words, here you are trying to live a good life. The only problem is it becomes natural to reject one's darkness. And so the devil pulls your strings from behind you, and you create harm without even knowing it. Ram Dass once told a story of a kind woman who one day stumbled upon a pile of trash, and she heard that pile of trash moving. So she investigated, and she found a litter of hamsters or something like that. And she loved animals, so she took the animals home and began to take care of them. She began feeding them some kind of food, but soon she ran out. And then she decided, oh, well, maybe I'll just put some honey in some water and feed them that. And so she began feeding the hamsters honey and water. And one by one, they stood up and did a little dance, and then fell over and died. Each of the hamsters, one by one, fell into diabetic shock.
Oh my
She
God.
tried to do the right thing. She had good intentions, but she was blinded by those good intentions. And in the same way, you could look at it as the devil pulled her strings and killed the hamsters. And things like this are happening all the time. Think about parents
Yeah.
who are a bit fearful or worried, and so they try to overprotect their children. But then that sabotages their life. It sabotages their ability to function. We are not designed to be pure. We're not designed to be perfect in this human form. And even if we could, our imbalance toward the light is ignorance. You see, we falsely assume that the light is perfect. That is not true. The nature of God is wholeness. And so it is not the light that is perfect, but the balance between the darkness and the light. That is why you should break the golden chains. Because if you reject any one of the parts, you do not like the darkness, you also reject the whole. You reject God. But what do? We judge God's perfect creation and say, this should not be, I should not be this way, you should not be this way. These things are wrong, we have to do something about it. And all the religious evil, the evil done in the name of religion has been done because of this. Because when you reject the darkness within yourself, you project it onto others.
And not only this, but just imagine what the Inquisition did to so many people, killing people in the name of God. Would you rather watch a tree grow? Why are the pig people always so weird, dude? Let's see. You're gonna get a timeout. Try tomorrow.
The darkness within you is unacceptable.
I don't like this kind
The
of
darkness
humor,
within
sorry.
others is also unacceptable. And you will do anything, by any means necessary, to eliminate that darkness. And so people have been killing each other for thousands of years. True morality and true virtue It's beyond good and evil. Because beyond good and evil is the nature of God. So what it means to be truly religious, truly spiritual, is to align oneself with God. Not to overemphasize the good and destroy the evil. As Alan Watts once said, you have the two fish, the black fish and the white fish, and they're both trying to eat each other. But what would happen if one fish ate the other fish? They both would die. They both require each other to sustain life. You see, most people would make terrible gods. You might think, well, you might look at life and say, well, I could do a better job than this. Look at all these terrible things happening. The first thing you do, seek to destroy evil. Seek to destroy the darkness. And you, as a new god, your first day on the job, you would destroy everything. It's like the environmentalists talk about the road to hell is paved with good intentions. People say, oh, we gotta protect this, we gotta save this. We gotta save the earth, man. No, you do not need to save the earth. Humanity is the one that needs to be saved. Now, I am not an activist, nor do I have much education on this topic, but I have heard that because of people who have good intentions, for instance, with the forests, like an overprotective mother or father, we say, we gotta make sure that nothing happens here. We gotta protect the forests. But what happens? Sometimes they prevent the dead wood from burning off. The forests are meant to burn. But with your good intentions, you say, no. The forest, it can't burn. We can't let that happen. We have to do whatever we can in our power to stop this forest from burning. And then what happens? The dead wood piles up and it piles up and it piles up. And then one day the perfect storm ignites everything. And the whole forest is destroyed because it burns too hot. What happened? You rejected the darkness, and so therefore you created death. You allowed imbalance to thrive. You don't think the forest knows what it is doing? You don't think that life has been around doing its job far longer than any human? You see, don't go into life thinking you can change the world. Because what do you know? And a lot of people will have difficulty with this because as human beings, even if you have a good heart, you feel like you need to do something about it. Something has got to happen. But who is more effective, you or life or God or the universe? It is simply your judgment of this perfect creation that causes one to be misguided. It is called being blinded by morality, being a slave to the golden chains, being too good for your own good. Sometimes you need a crazy person like me to come along, because once you align yourself with the truth, that both the darkness and the light are equally important for the wholeness of all things, you realize that everything is perfectly balanced. No matter what we do in this life, and I'm not being nihilistic, everything will return to balance. Everything will return to equilibrium no matter what we do. Because that is the nature of reality, that is the nature of the universe. Everything seeks equilibrium. So, if human beings refuse to become balanced, and they continue with their selfish mind games, destroying the planet, as you will see, the earth will, in a sense, evoke its, what you might call, its immune system. If the humanity continues to make the earth sick, the earth is not going to take. The earth is not going to put up with it. And so it will destroy the human race with tsunamis, with unbearable weather, with death. Now, it's not that the earth is consciously doing this. It's just that the nature of the universe is returning to balance. And whatever is causing the imbalance will be eradicated. You see, there are a few kinds of evil in this world. There's the evil done.
See, I also always say nature has the last word. There's nothing above it. So whatever we build, whatever we think we do, tsunami comes and everything is gone. But how much is really, as it says, it's not conscious. How much trust can you put in this process of rebalancing, of it being from a higher power? Or is it just random? You know?
By those who are all darkness and no light, and there is the evil that is done by those who are all light and no darkness. This is the far greater tragedy, because if you are consciously being evil, all the death, all the destruction, you signed up for it. But this kind of evil is the most tragic because you tried to do the right thing, but you only made it worse. You see, you could look at this as heart and mind. A psychopath is all.
Because even cancer is fungus from nature trying to get its space back. So sometimes I'm a little bit anal about terminology and how people word stuff. I have to disagree, it is not a fungus. But because I understand cancer in what it truly is, when you think about our cells in our system, we are meant to decay and die. The thing with cancer cells is they don't die. They just keep growing. It's like mutation. And that is the issue with cancer, Cancer, however, I don't think is how do I say? Cancer is not an answer from something. I think cancer is just part of us, a mutation of us. And everybody has cancer in them. And on some people, it kills them. That's how I see it. It is just a human thing, a biological thing. But I don't want to be anal about it, So
all mind and no
I
heart.
do understand what you say,
And an enlightened person is all heart,
but I could
no
not
mind.
sign this.
Now, of course, enlightened people aren't evil. It's not exactly accurate what I just said. Because the enlightened person understands the nature of God, that God is wholeness. So they do not reject the mind, they don't resist the mind, they don't fight the mind, they don't destroy the mind. They accept it as a natural part of being alive. And they live from heart-based consciousness. To truly be spiritual, or to be religious, there must be balance. Only because balance is the nature of God. Heart is love. Mind is wisdom. Without the heart, you are pure selfishness. Without wisdom, without the mind, you are naive. And that is why the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Because you act without wisdom, and therefore the unintended consequences smack you in the face. You see this
This
problem
is so real, man.
in a lot of religious
so
and
real.
spiritual people. That is, we think the spiritual world is better than the physical world. We look at the physical world and material things as superficial, but we think the spiritual world, that is what is truly meaningful. And it is true. The problem is that if you are a slave to the physical world, you live a life of temporary impulsive pleasure, satisfying your sense desires. You will forever be empty, never finding true satisfaction. But if you are a slave to the spiritual world, you will remain ungrounded, and you will not be able to practically live in the physical world. One kind of example. Once Carl Jung had the opportunity to visit Ramana Maharshi, a great spiritual saint in India. But he decided not to go because he said, well, once you know one spiritual saint, you know them all. When he went to India, he saw the pictures of the saints. They're all the same. And one person wrote an article about Ramana Maharshi saying when he went to his ashram, the whole thing was falling apart. People were taking advantage of others. People were being manipulative. And Ramana Maharshi, fully immersed in the bliss of God, the man claimed that Ramana Maharshi did nothing, that he just let it happen. Now, I take no side. It's just expressing the point. Another example is Eckhart Tolle, when he said he first became enlightened, that he spent like 3 years sitting on park benches doing nothing. Because when you are immersed in the bliss of God, there is no motivation. You have no desires. You are fully satisfied and fully content with nothing. And so you have no reason to act in the physical world. That is why it is okay not to be attached to your desires, but to not simply get rid of them. I have many desires, but I am not attached to any of them. Meaning, I am still interested in fulfilling my dreams, fulfilling my purpose in the physical world, and I'm not just trying to escape to heaven. Think about how offended God would be. God created this magnificent thing, this divine play, this divine game. And the first thing you want to do is get out of it, is to escape it, is to run away. I want to run away to the mountains and be spiritual and meditate. I don't want to play this superficial game. I am above all that. I don't need any material desires. It's all spiritual ego. Seek the people who know how to balance both of these things. In other words, well, you for yourself, you want to balance the spiritual life with the earthly life by accepting everything through understanding that both are equally important, that you can't have one without the other. You cannot reject the earthly without also rejecting the spiritual. And you cannot reject the spiritual without also rejecting the earthly. Everything is connected. We are all one. That is why teachers like Jesus Christ, they say, do not judge and love your enemies, because you will be judged based on how you judge others. Because the way you judge others is also judging yourself. As I said previously, it's shadow projection. We project what we hate within ourselves and project it upon others, so we do not have to face that horrible truth. Because if we were forced to face that truth, we would die. You see, what is hell, in my perspective?
He's over-exaggerating a little bit, but I do fully get the point.
That is truth, and you have darkness, that is ignorance. When we live in ignorance, and the light of truth shines upon us, because we are attached to the darkness, to our ignorance, in that moment, the darkness dissolves. And because we are attached to that darkness, we feel like we are burning. And that is hell. That is why it is common said that we will experience a life review. In this human body, we are very limited. We only know so much. We don't know the whole truth. We can't. But without a body in death, we can know the truth and nothing but the truth. And to the degree in which we were attached to ignorance in our life, that is the degree in which we will burn. But if you learn to drop your ignorance, well, then this will not be a problem for you. But as I like to say, we have to get lost in order to rejoice in the act of being found. We have to live in ignorance in order to rejoice in the act of discovering the truth. The villain and the hero are equally important to the story. It is contrast that gives life meaning. The evil give purpose to the good, and the good give purpose to the evil. It's like in the Batman movie with the Joker. The Joker says, the Batman says, "Why do you want to kill me?" And the Joker says, "Kill you? Why would I do such a thing like that? You complete me." Where would Andrew Tate be without the Matrix? And where would the Matrix be without Andrew Tate? Where would Alex Jones be without the reptilians? And where would the reptilians be without Alex Jones? Only God knows. And where would Kanye West be without the... You see, once we come to understand that God is wholeness, God is the darkness and the light, we stop suffering our experiences so much, because we realize that every problem, that every struggle is exactly what we need for our highest spiritual growth. That God, that life, puts these things in our life so that we can enjoy the process of overcoming them. Alan Watts once said, "We suffer so much because we take seriously what the gods made for fun." This is divine play. The whole cosmos was made for you, and you are under the spotlight, my friend. Your life is the movie, and you are entertaining a galaxy of angels. Everybody has stopped to enjoy this film. That our life here on this earth is entertainment for the gods. So how about you play? In other words, stop taking yourself so seriously.
Just
When you
be.
make a mistake, understand that that mistake will give meaning to your life. You will find meaning in your redemption. You will find meaning in the struggle to overcome your darkness. You see, the point is never to get rid of the darkness. That is where many people fall short. That was never the point. The point is to rise up in the face of the darkness. Because whether we like it or not, this human life is a tragedy. But luckily, a tragedy is just a comedy that has yet to be finished. The beauty of life is not about humans finally defeating the evil, defeating the darkness. The beauty is in a temporary and limited being rising up in the face of an eternal and infinite death. The beauty is in our futile struggle to be good in the face of evil, to struggle with our own humanity, to struggle with our own morality. Human beings, as Jordan Peterson would say, are like sled dogs. We need a burden. We need responsibility. We need a problem to overcome. We need a struggle. We need a villain. Or you might need a hero. But the suffering comes when we reject one side over the other. You see, true spirituality is about freedom. It's about not wearing any chains. And true healing will occur when we can learn to accept the ugly parts of ourselves, the parts that are unacceptable, the parts that we deem are unworthy, the parts that we would never show to the world. Because so long as you reject your inner darkness, you will be living with a monster inside of you, trapped in the basement of your unconscious, and you will be too afraid to go down there. And every day it will grow more powerful. Every day it will grow more resentful. And one day that monster will escape and come after you. Because how would you feel if you were banished to eternal darkness simply because you were ugly and unlovable? The greatest weapon in this world is love. Love destroys all enemies. Because when you love your enemies, you have none. Do not live with an enemy within you, one that pulls your strings and ruins your life without your awareness. Face the darkness, face the monster. Because darkness is half of life. If you do not know how to handle the dark energy, what do you think will happen when it inevitably arrives at your doorstep? As it is said, it is better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. If you do not know how to handle your darkness, you will be unprepared. You may not survive. But you can use your heart to purify your mind. That is, you love yourself unconditionally in this present moment. You do not. This means non-judgment, self-compassion. That's not right. Unconditional love. Now these are ideals to strive for. It's understandable if you just can't do these things right away. But there is a catch. It does not mean that you get a pass to do whatever you want. Just because you do not judge yourself does not mean you don't also strive to be better. Because you could just be an evil person and not judge yourself. But that is not freedom. The more open your heart is, the more important non-judgment is. Because to judge yourself means that you are saying there is something wrong about you. Think about it, is there something wrong with God? And so if you are made in the image of God, what is wrong with you? If this universe, if this world was created by God, and God is perfect, then what is wrong with this world? What is wrong is our judgment, because we live in ignorance. It is like a child judging the actions of an adult. The child is naive, it is ignorant, and although it may have wisdom, and it may have love, the child simply does not know the ways of the adult. And that is what it is like to judge God's creation. And you see this echoed in the book of Job, where God pretty much allows Satan to destroy Job in every way possible. And Job comes to God and he says, "Why? Why did you do this to me? What have I done?" And God basically says, "Who are you to question me? Were you there when I created the universe? Were you there when I lassoed the Leviathan?" And Job says, "You're right." Harsh, but it gets the point across.
I don't get
that
it.
We must be humble. As Socrates said, "All I know is that I know nothing." And that is true wisdom.
That's
We
fucked
know
up.
not the vastness of our ignorance. And so if you want to be free, if you want to be truly spiritual, this is what is required. We must enter into complete non-resistance to life. And that is done through acceptance. You realize that the darkness and the light are equally important.
Okay, I get
God-
it. It's a metaphor. What happened to him is just life happened. And him asking why is like asking God this question, as stupid as it is. Because the answer is always going to be the same. It is just what happened. You cannot change it. It just happened. Right? So it is as if somebody has this power over you and says, like, who are you to judge? It's a metaphor. I get it.
God was always in control. You accept everything that happens. As it is said, you love your fate because you realize that life is perfect, that there is nothing wrong with life, nor is there anything wrong with you. Now, of course, you need wisdom, because if you just say, "Oh, well, I'm perfect as I am," well, then you just won't do anything. You will kill the purpose in your life. We get purpose from overcoming our weaknesses, from improving, from growing and expanding. But if you spiritually bypass and just say, "Well, I am perfect, I don't need to change," that is false. That is refusing responsibility. But rather, you learn to accept yourself completely as you are, while also setting the intention to improve, to be better. And we learn to accept through trust and faith. You trust and have faith that everything is working out exactly in your favor, that everything you experience is exactly what you need for your highest spiritual growth. If you can keep remembering these things, then when the hard times come, when the problems and the struggles arrive, you will experience great relief because you will more easily be able to surrender. Because with our limited human ego, we think we know it all, and that is what ruins our life. Because we're always in judgment, we're always in resistance. But once you surrender to the higher power, you can have trust and faith that everything is okay. And when you surrender, and you're not just wallowing in your own suffering, you come to clarity, and clarity is truth. Clarity is light. You understand why things happen the way they do. But when you're caught up in your psychological drama, you're too focused on your own suffering that you're blinded by your temporary emotions. And so you lack clarity. You are separated from truth, and you are separated from the light. You surrender completely to the present moment, and that is freedom. You understand that God knows everything you need, everything you desire, more than even you could understand from this limited ego perspective. So you allow God, you allow life, you allow the universe to bring to you, through surrender, through trust and faith and acceptance, everything that you need and everything that you desire. You can have everything you want in life that is truly good for you. But in your attempts to go out into the world and get these things, to take it by force, you will face never-ending resistance, struggle, and it will come with unintended consequences. But if you can surrender, you allow the divine to bring you all good things. You enjoy the journey and you enjoy the destination. But how many people live doing things simply as a means to an end? I'm going to work this job that I hate just to get money. And you wonder why so many people look like zombies, because they have cut themselves off from their soul, the living dead. But this is what it means to truly be alive. As I said earlier, life is a paradox. The more we try to take power and control for ourselves, the more we lose it. But the more we surrender power and control, the more we gain it. I feel more free than I have ever been. And at the same time, I feel that I have surrendered more than I ever have. But when I did not surrender, when I tried to keep power and control for myself, I felt more a slave than ever. On your journey, you will learn how to transmute the darkness into light, so that no negative experience will ever destroy you ever again. You see, as the Stoics say, the obstacle is the way, meaning your struggles and your problem are the exact path you will take to enlightenment, to liberation, to freedom. There once was a story about the Knights of the Round Table seeking the Holy Grail, and one day they decided to go to a great and dark forest to find the Holy Grail. But there was only one condition. Each man had to enter the forest where it seemed the most dark, and that is the path to freedom. But we cannot find freedom, we cannot find the Holy Grail, we cannot find enlightenment if we are afraid of the dark. I mean, you can be afraid of the dark, that's not the problem. What I mean is reject the darkness, run away from the darkness. The obstacle is the way. The path to enlightenment is through the struggles you are currently experiencing. Therefore, your struggles, your problems, they're not bad. They're only bad because we judge them as bad. They're only wrong because we judge them as wrong, and because we judge them as wrong and bad, we resist them, and resistance is suffering. So, we lose clarity and we wallow in our suffering. We become hopeless and feel that life is not worth living. But if we can reframe our attitude, reframe our mindset to realize that God is always in control and that sometimes the way to heaven is first through hell, then we can stop resisting our problems, but rather we face our struggles with a positive attitude, because we realize that our purpose is found in the overcoming of these struggles, of solving these problems. And then even more purpose can be found when once we find the solution, we share the solution with others. This is what it means to be human. But what is inhuman is rejecting the darkness. There is no way out of this, my friend. The only way is through. But what you will find is that on this journey, you will become far more powerful than you currently are, and you will claim your authority, your true power. But you must be able to wield the darkness and the light, and you must face your own evil. You would rather have the devil right in front of you than behind you. I am Ray. Check out my cool store. I'll be adding new things in the coming months.
That was great, dude. So good, so good, so good. Yeah, man. I do fully resonate with everything he said. And I came to this conclusion myself many times and very strongly in the past few months. That also always felt right in terms of denying like full spiritual, leaving all materialistic behind, because it just didn't feel right. After all, I'm just human and I am physical and in this physical world. So much of what he says is just makes so much sense, and everything that doesn't makes sense afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. This was really good. It's getting pretty late. Are you still here, bro? I think it's time to GG out. I feel like I calmed down a little bit with this math energy. I feel drained. Yo, you too, man. Fuck. Let's see how I'm gonna sleep. This is some ridiculous times ahead now. Fuck. I hope it won't impact my sexy time. If you know what I mean. Many say it can become a detriment. Hmm. Alrighty, guys. GG. I'm out. Thanks for watching. We come by tomorrow. Hopefully, I can work out tomorrow. If not, I don't know what to say. I'm probably going through a flu now. But yeah, I'll let you know. GG. Thank you. Bye.